Afternoon, darlings. We are going to have a look at the next 2 weeks. This is for Patreon. And I was just having a look and I thought I'd take you with me. So this is Fukushima 3/11/2011. I don't have it in Japan. I don't have the right time. It doesn't really matter. I just want a general idea. First thing that is interesting is that Saturn is in Virgo. So the triple goddesses, very much what we will be talking about today. Triple goddesses is always the three earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. So the feminine axis, earth, and that works with the moon, water, which gives us the two crescent, waning and waxing, on each side of the full and the dark sides, the new moon. So you've got three apparents, and then there's always that hidden phase when you can find the 21,777. That gives you so 777 are the three angles of the triangle. 1 7 at the top, 1 7 in the corner, 1 7 in the corner. But those two angles are just the 7 7, the dub L 7 7. So those are the two angles at the back of our brain, and that's all you need to make the 777. The trip L is also the 7, and it's also the 1. It's the 1. It's the 90-degree angle, the 999 or the 666. So when I'm 64, you meet the four parts of your brain, the Beetlejuice, and you can find this hidden triangle. You can find the passage, the God passage. It's my new thing that I've picked up from this guy that I love. God's generator, mind, O, the passage. O is the water. It's the passage. Chat GPT uses O. In French is water. And the water, the O, is the operator. So the operator, G, the generator, how you think. So when you think with your heart, then you get the O, you get the operator, and that gives you the ability to destroy or to create, to take action. D, gods. So Saturn was in mutable Earth for Fukushima. For 9/11 in 2001. So 2001 is 21. 21 is 777. Those are the triple goddesses. 9/11. So we had Mercury at home in Virgo. We had the sun just going into that, it was the sun moves into Leo on the 12th, and on the, into Virgo, sorry. The sun moves into Virgo on the 17th. Okay, so that's 17 again. That's 17. So that's 17, always that Virgo virgin. I was married at 17. I showed you in my YouTube video. My sister-in-law wrote that book, Pop D Set, and the Shah of Iran was 57. So interesting, I'm 57 now. So that gap between being 17 and 57. So she wrote a book. She met the Shah of Iran at 17 and the Shah of Iran was 57. So her book was called Pop Door 17 to Door 57, which I think is a very symbolic passage of the triple goddesses. You become the old hag, Hecate, Capricorn, Taurus, the mother, the moon goddess, Virgo, Amartis, the virgin, and that gives you the triple. It's the 21. It's the passage into, to find the last L, which gives you the armistice date, 1111. those angel numbers, 1111. Remember L, 37, you times 37, you get all the angel numbers. That was what he was explaining to us, Dane. I'm going to give Dane a reading. Normally that's planned on the 25th, so we can ask him those, how to calculate. I think it's 37 times every number gives you another angel number. So triple L 21 2001 9/11. The sun was in Leo, Mercury was in Virgo, so the sun was in domicile, Mercury was in domicile, Venus was just in Leo. Yep, the day before the 10th, she was in Cancer and she just moved into Leo. Jupiter was bang on Sirius. The moon was on that wand, the brain stem, and Saturn was bang on Aldebaran. So the guy who just won Wimbledon yesterday, I had no idea about him. I had no idea it was Wimbledon. I just fell upon him and I knew I had to go and look. He's born in 2001 and he is born on the 16th of August. And I have been telling you for the past 2 weeks, I've been telling you, so in my last 2-week rundown for Patreon, you see, I call it Prince. 30th of July to Bastille Day, that's today. This is Big Lion King, A69. 69 is the triple goddess. You've got the passage in the middle, and then you've got the 2 sixes, the moon, and that is the crop circle we've just seen. We've seen the 2 crescent moons on each side of the pentagram, Venus, and the O, that's big ears, it's the 2 crescent moons, and your heads, it's the passage through your heart, 2 sides of the moon, the past, the future, the present. So A69 was the big topic because they had the motorway. Top Cat, Sun King, Little Prince, Claw, Revolution, Rising, Mercury, 69 Cancer, Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury go retro. So Saturn went retrograde yesterday and we had floods in Catalonia, Spain, massive floods from the 12th, 13th. And we had, as Neptune went retrograde, in Texas, we had the floods for Neptune, so then Saturn, and now Mercury going retrograde on the 17th. The 17th is the door that went down. So that whole, in my village, so that whole article is explaining that 7721, Skynet, AI. I said this is all about the Prince of the Air. AI is everything. We've just had Elon Musk do a chat, so I'm going to be showing you my posts, but check out L. Yep, so that was the big date as well, the 3rd of July. Well, that was the big floods in Texas, was on the night of the 3rd to the 4th. So everything I said on, I knew how enormous it was, this 37, 73, I explained. So 9/11, the moon, Jupiter, Saturn. The guy who just won Wimbledon, he was born on the 16th of the 8th. And this is incredible, but this little postcard just popped up of the Little Prince. It just popped up on my desk today. And you'll see, I've been talking about this. And this came from the first lawyer that I went to see. I went to see when I began my long 10-year divorce. And I went to see him. Well, he was my second lawyer. The first lawyer I didn't go to a woman. The first lawyer I went to see in September 2001. I'll always remember, we always know where we were when the towers came down. I was in my car going to see my first lawyer in September 2001. So it took me from a whole year to then get to the second lawyer. And this, he wrote me this little card on the Little Prince, and it's dated the 16th of August 2002. So this is the day that the guy who just won, Yannick Sinner, just won. Oh, I've got a wasp or something stinging me. Something just stung. That was weird. So the guy who just won Wimbledon is called Yannick Sinner, and he was born on the 16th of August 2001, and you'll see the post I've done about him explaining everything. You won't believe it all. But he is born on that 8/16, and he is therefore born with the moon and Venus conjunct. Actual, you know, when at the time he was born, the moon was just on. He's born on the 16th. Oh, that's the time, on the 16th. Well, this is in America, so, this is here. He's born in Italy. Anyway, we got the moon and Venus conjunct, Jupiter on Sirius. So Jupiter in the same place as for 2001, and exactly where Jupiter is again now in Gemini. Saturn was on Aldebaran just as for 9/11. So Saturn was in Virgo for Fukushima. Saturn was in Taurus for 9/11, 2001, and Saturn was in Capricorn. The day Saturn entered Capricorn was COVID's. So we've had the triple goddesses. We've had those 3 phases of Saturn now. And for the Madrid earthquakes, I've shown you over and over again in 18, whatever it was, we had Jupiter here as well. Jupiter was retrograde on the earthquake dates. There were 2 big at the end of, okay, I'll go and open it. So the New Madrid fault system was responsible for the 1811 to 1812. So at that time, Jupiter was going over the wand. 1811, I've showed you many times. So look, there's Jupiter right on the wand. So it actually happened at the end in December. So there you see he's doing his going back, and then 1812 in January, February. So Jupiter was right there on the wand. It's all about Jupiter. So we don't have to get too into that, but where was Saturn? Saturn was in Sagittarius. Uranus was there, and where was Neptune as we're looking? Neptune was in Scorpio, and where was Pluto? Pluto was still in Aquarius. So back to today. Today we are 777. We are Bastille Day. And today, as I speak, we've got the moon right on Fomalhaut, the true third eye, the lamb. We've got Pluto, as you know, in Capricorn. We've got Saturn retrograde since yesterday, conjunct Neptune, both retrograde on the whale's tail in the home of Jupiter. So Saturn is the true ruler with Uranus of the Twin Peaks, of Father Air and Mother Earth, and Neptune is considered the modern day ruler of Pisces. So we've got Neptune giving brownie points to Pisces, and Saturn, who can, you know, always bad things happen when Saturn is in the home of Jupiter. You know, this is Jupiter's way to get that energy of Saturn. Saturn rules Aquarius, air, and Jupiter has no air. So he's now rising himself as the Prince of the Airwaves. We have got today Venus on the bullseye, the all-important Philosopher's Stone, right on Aldebaran. Uranus is right on the Seven Sisters. So there's your last leg. Today is 714, 777, and Uranus is on those Seven Sisters. Venus in domicile, at home, the all-seeing eye, AI, the breast of Venus. This is the eye. Venus is the only one who can rise that third eye in Libra. This is the heart. This is the torso. This is the operator. This is the O. This is where you care. This is your heart. Your ears are the heart. Your heart is working on both sides. You get your O, your passage through. That's why they show you in Odyssey 2001, when Hal won't open the door, they show you the passage through is the O, and you see the two men on the two sides. So I'm going to be taking you to see all the pictures. So there's Jupiter on Sirius, just like for 9/11, 3/11. Oh, I just went to go and see 3/11. 2011. Let's go see where Jupiter was again. Where was Jupiter? For Fukushima. He was at home. Okay, well, look at that splash. Jupiter, Mercury, Uranus, and the sun was in that passage. This is the true north, the true spring, and the whale's tail is in the mix. So you've got Jupiter and Mercury. They need Uranus for that big splash. And now we've got, this is the wings of Lucifer. So Jupiter had Mercury with him for Fukushima. And now Jupiter is in the home of Mercury, as Mercury is in water today on the little claw, on the prince, on the pass, and the sun, the ruler of Leo, is on Sirius, the keeper of the four corners. So, the wheel is moving. This is no longer the Nile, the floods. This is the summer solstice. Everything is dry. The summer solstice. So we're still under the influence of the new moon we had on the 25th of June in Gemini. That's when we had the floods in Paris. And then on the first quarter moon, the 3rd, 4th, we had the floods in Texas. And now for Saturn going retrograde just after the full moon, we've got the Barcelona floods. But we've been having floods. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, has been in Cancer. Mercury was on the beehive. So for the floods, the L, he was on the beehive, on the B. The B13, the 1-3 of Fucius. So you'll see it's been 148 years, it says, for this tennis player. Is that 148 years that an Italian has won? 148 makes 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 13. 13 is the B, and we've got, you'll see this young tennis player, he is born with Mars and Pluto conjunct on Ophiuchus, well, actually in Scorpio, because there is no, but right on the knee of Ophiuchus. And so yesterday when he won, 23 years, we're at 23 DNA strands from 2001, and he won every match. 6-4, 4-6, 6-4, 4. When I'm 64, 46 chromosomes, twins. So we've got Mercury in Cancer, we've got in water Saturn and Neptune going retrogrades in Pisces, and this is the big news today, is that Mercury is on the claw of the little prince. So the moon rules Cancer, And today the moon is on the true third eye, on the true lamb, and Saturn has just gone retrograde. And Mars is in the home of Leo. So this is really about rising the water, Mercury in water, the lion. The sun is in the home of Mercury on Lord of the Rings, right on Pollux. The sun's been moving. He's right on the Lord of the Rings today, on Pollux. The sun rules Leo and Mercury rules Gemini. And this is how this little prince, the prince of the airways, Jupiter is here in Gemini, soaking up the air. He needs to raise this big AI movement. They've been saying it's going to be in 2027. AI is going to take over completely. This is the time. This is it. Jupiter's got everybody lined up. He's got Venus on the all-seeing eye, the breast of Venus. He wants to take over that passage. We've been shown the spider, the creator, the weaver. That is Venus. That is Inanna, who creates the flower of life, the material realm. The all-seeing eye is when Venus rises in her other home, Libra air, that he's using to become the prince of the material realm, because Venus is in the torso in Taurus and Venus is in domicile. So this has been planned forever for this AI rise. We've got this tennis player has got Saturn right here, and also Elon Musk has got his Saturn right here in Taurus, the material realm. So let's look at this chart here. This is the 14th of July. So there you see on this chart for the 14th, I've got Jupiter. We're all on the mutable cross. Virgo, Pisces, Jupiter, Sagittarius. Mars is right conjunct to that south node. So that karmic whiplash. And we've got the moon on Fomalhaut, we've got Pluto retrograde, and now we've got Saturn and Neptune retrograde, making this sextile to Pluto, all of them retrogrades. And that key in the first sign of Aries, Mars rules Aries, and Mars is sitting happy in fire. So you've got real fire, water, energy with Mercury in Cancer, and the sun will be entering Cancer. But this is the whole amazing big thing of this month, is that we had the new moon in Gemini, and we're going to go all the way to the next new moon. Will just be in Cancer, but there are 4 full phases of the moon as the sun is in Gemini. That's what he wants. He needs the dark phase. He needs the last phase. If you can integrate the Virgin, the Mother, and the Old Hag, then you are able to face the Deadly Mother passage, which is the Deadly Mother passage. I wonder if anything pops up. I wonder if I put Jung. If my card will tap up a mother's deadly secrets. Mother Goose. Okay, there she is. This is Silverlocks. This is the Deadly Mother. They got the 2 wolves on each side, the sun and the moon, and the Deadly Mother. It was never Goldilocks. It was Silverlocks. And this is her, the moon, Jungian Tarot. So that's subcontinent release. So if you can get those 3 phases, then you can make this is the hardest passage for all humanity, is to get through this, the moon. There, we've got the passage. We've got the beetle, the snake, the wolves. This is the scariest passage. This is silver locks. So today we've got the moon square to Uranus on those seven sisters, Venus right on the bullseye, and Venus working in a sextile to Mercury, not quite retrograde yet. And this is Bastille Day. The key is conjunct to Eris. Okay, so let's move on. That's Bastille Day. Let's go to the third quarter, last quarter. So again, the last quarter, we had the new moon in Gemini. We had the first quarter in Virgo. We had the full moon in Sagittarius. And now we're going to have the last quarter right in that passage. The moon will move on that day. So she's in Pisces. She'll move into Aries at the end of that day, but she is conjunct to the key. She is conjunct to Chiron. She's making that last square to the sun, and the sun will still be in Gemini. 15, 16, 17. So that's the day that Mercury goes retrograde, right on the claw. This is it. This is right. This is the Kraken. This is it. This is the Kraken. And it's the 17. I keep saying something about the 17 being this door. Jupiter, bang on Sirius. And the sun still in Gemini. The sun is still. The sun doesn't move into Cancer until the 21st. That's your 2-1. So between the 17th and the 21st, the sun is still in Gemini. Mercury, the ruler, has now gone retrograde, the 17th, and Mars is on the last leg of the lion. So this is the end of the wheel. This is Rome. This is the last leg. This is a whole new wheel being born, and Jupiter is crowning himself the prince of the airwaves of AI. And you know, this is the alien, the A-link, the alien invasion. Uranus is on the seven sisters. This is, you know, this is the aliens. This is, can you imagine the power that AI is taking right now with all this perfectly set up? So that last quarter moon, 18th of July, Pluto is going to be opposite the sun, sun square to the moon, and moon square to Pluto. And there is also an opposition, well, a square between Pluto and Mars. Pluto and Mars, so remember, they were opposite each other for a long time, as Mars was going retrograde between Cancer and Gemini, preparing the ground. Now he's in the home of the sun, and we will have Mercury that was opposite and will be opposite again as he goes retrograde. So this is always very intense. The sun opposite Pluto, the sun in Gemini. The end of Gemini means that he can still be opposite Pluto in Capricorn. There's enough degrees to make that an opposition, even if it's not an opposite sign. So Pluto in feminine Capricorn working with Uranus in feminine Taurus, and with this double retrogrades of Saturn and Neptune on the whale's tail. So we've got Jupiter, Neptune, the rulers of Pisces, Venus at home, the ruler here, and Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, and Uranus. Well, Uranus is of Aquarius, but all very feminine and involving all the rulers are there. Jupiter, the original ruler of Pisces, in the home of Mercury, and Mercury in Cancer. So that is the 18th. The 18th. Let's go to the 18th here. Venus, right, and that moon is going to make, on that day, it's going to move into Aries that day. So half the day in Pisces, and then by the afternoon in Aries. So it really is in that cusp, going from Jupiter's home to Mars's home, Jupiter and Mars. So the 17th is a big date, and the 18th, but I think the 17th, because of this all these connections with the 17 and that house falling down in my village, the 17th. So we also had the full moon. I did an article for you because it was so important. I did a full moon and I spoke all about Diana, about this axis between Gemini and Sagittarius, that it was the gap. They show you the gap between two worlds, the separation, if you like, between the winter and the summer triangle, and this axis of Altair. There's Altair, and Altair is showing you, this is the moon goddess, and Altair is the 77. So interesting that the weight of this tennis player I'm going to take you to see is 77, which shows me that it is all about Altair. So it was this buck moon, and that was on the 10th of July. So I spent a long time there. We had fires across France, Marseille. It's your prince. So the fleur de lis is the bee, it's the maypole, it's the 777, it is the womb, is the bee is the womb, the queen bee goddess, and this is where Mercury is retrograding, taking this feminine energy with Jupiter. Jupiter wants both. So this tennis player is born with Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury. No, Jupiter, Venus, and the moon all conjunct in Gemini. So it's about the egg. And so this was the day that they brought out on the 7/7, the 7th of July, the 7/7, the Altair, the eagle. They brought out the 4.8 million robot in my village in Aignan, the egg, where the number 17 house has fallen down. They brought out a robot for the hatchery, where they can now destroy the female egg before she hatches. So everyone says, wow, how fantastic. Nobody realizes why on earth would my tiny village in the 5-pointed star show, how come where we live we've got such incredible equipment, because this is the birthing of AI taking over the fertility. So everyone's distracted with Epstein. There's another Stein. It's always the stone, the Stein, and other things going on, when really it's, the fertility, it's the egg, it's the line, the meridian is the line up. So the egg, where I live, Aignan, that then takes you up Scotland, up to the Rose Line. So Cancer is home to the beehive cluster, which was originally called Praesepe, which is Latin for the manger or the crib. The beehive cluster, M44. So there was Mars on the claw. This is Babylonian stellarium, and there was the moon on Sagittarius, D'Artagnan. That's why we've got D'Artagnan where I live. So Chiron has begun a new 49 is now conjunct Eris. Yes, and there was Venus, not quite as she is today. That was William Blake on the breast of Venus. St. Paul's Cathedral is showing you the Philosopher's Stone, the breast, the all-seeing eye at the top of the altar. And there in Mount Etna, again, they show Altair, the phoenix that rises above the breast of Venus, the all-seeing eye. There's St. Paul's. And so on that full moon, we had the sun on the hand of the sky of Gemini, and I've just been saying it's the Prince. This is the Prince, 1969, and there I give you the triple goddesses. So that's your 6, your 6, 6, your 6, 6. It's just the two sides. Again, here you've got the two sides of the moon and the central torso. The torso, the Taurus fields. You know, this Cancer, breast, Midnight Express is the original tropic line. Janus, Cancer, Capricorn. We've now got Mercury in Cancer, Pluto in Capricorn, and we've got, for this last quarter moon coming up, we've got the Sun opposite Pluto, not quite in Cancer, but that is your Midnight Express. What was I looking at? Pictures. So Cancer, Sun on Sirius. So this is why I'm always showing Diana, because I've always known that this is the axis from the Milky Way gap. It's from Sirius to the Altair to rise the Eagle. Okay. On the 24th of July, we will have the Sun and the Moon. Sun and the Moon will meet in Cancer, and Mercury will still be on the Little Prince. He'll still be on the Little Prince. The Moon will move. We'll have a new moon at 21 hours for us in France. Mars will just be about to leave Leo. Mars leaves Leo on the 28th. So Mars is still between Leo and Virgo. Venus is coming up to the tip of the corn, and Jupiter is still on Sirius. So by that time, Jupiter has considered himself now the king. The king, the moon, has moved into the fertility, owning the fertility. This is the only thing that AI wants, is fertility. That's all. He wants the energy of the moon. That's why Robin Williams in the film Baron, the Baron, he meets Robin Williams, Mr. and Mrs. Moon, that film that I always show you, Baron film, Boomer, that The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, so that I'm always showing you, 1988. And there's Robin Williams as the moon. So this whole film is showing you how Jupiter takes over the empire, and this is what's going on right now. I mean, we've just had Macron and Brigitte with King William, with the King of England. I'll show you. There's the balloon, just like we had at the Olympics. The hidden hand. So that is the new moon. We see it here, and then I'll go and show you new moon, the 24th of July. So then we've got back again this Cancer, Capricorn opposition, making a square this time to Chiron, the key. So this is the new month set off in Cancer, the moon, as Mercury is still here, and Jupiter. So Jupiter's soaking up the energy of the Cancer and Taurus. The moon is normally exalted in Taurus. And we've still got Venus at home, and Uranus, the modern day ruler of so-called Aquarius, where we do have the North Node. The North Node is still at the beginning of Aquarius. That is the true spring, the true north. Sirius is no longer the true north. Jupiter's on Sirius. He wants to keep his summer, winter, Sirius opposite Altair, Princess Diana's passage. He wants to keep this. So he's bringing up his AI, his airwaves, as Uranus is in the home of Venus on the Seven Sisters. Okay, so I'm going to just go through a few posts. So just happened to fall on this bloke, Mercury on the little Prince, claw Prince today, and I knew it went deeper. So the Sun in Leo in domicile, Sun enters Leo on the 11th of August. His birthday is the 1688, and then this pops up from my old first lawyer, and basically I can't read his handwriting, but at the time I had somebody to help me. So small, but I remember he was just teasing me, and he was just saying, welcome to the world, Victoria, welcome to the big world where, yes, you've had all your money stolen, and no. Little did he know that I was going to fight for my life, and I won, and I ended up, I owed him 7,000 at the time. It was still francs, but it was about 7,000 euros. And he said I didn't have to pay him. He said he'd never in his life, because he wouldn't do anything I asked him to do. So I turned up with 80 attestation. You have to have proof. You know, I was being set up to be put into prison, and this guy was just laughing at me, saying, welcome to the real world. And you know, the judges threw me out. I wasn't allowed in the judge room. Came up, you know, hell hath no anger, like that other scorned woman. I was full of fury. You know, I was a 33-year-old woman who had just woken up to how I'd been completely tricked and set up. And nobody could imagine that I would have that much inner strength to take on my whole family and everybody. They'd all set up. Fabrice was very close to his cousin, who was the only female judge in France, and they all thought that I would not make it. Fabrice's builder committed suicide when my ex turned on him, and it was only when it happened to me that I was able to, you know, in those days nobody knew what narcissism was, and but I actually went and did my research. I went and found his parents. Fabrice had a builder who set him up, accused him of stealing just because he didn't want to fire him, and then he would have had to pay him some money. So he set him up, and the poor builder who'd given him 10 years of his life, and he was bond to my ex, he hung himself, and he left a note accusing him and the gardener. And I remember my ex coming to me saying, can you believe it? Because you know, and then when it happened to me, I realized that I was in the same boat. And I had many attempts of murder on me, but I kept going through. And this guy, when he saw that I won the consolation, that was what it's called, the consolation, and he said, I've never seen anything like it, Victoria, and you don't have to pay me. And I didn't have to pay him. So he went from mocking me to everybody was amazed. And that was just the beginning, because I then had to go through another 8 years. You know, in that 8 years, I was tested every month for drugs. I had my children taken away from me. I was working in, you know, very tough jobs. I was having non-stop attempts on my life. I had no member of my family on my side. Nobody believed anything because my mother was dead, and nobody knew what had happened. So yeah, I don't ever think about all that, but sometimes I think that I should just let you know, because, you know, this is what I'm made of, and that's why I'm such a decoder, because I had to decode so much to work everything out. But it's just proving to me that what this post is about, this is it. I mean, that was the date. You can see the 16th. Can you see that? 16th of August, which is the birthday of this guy, and it just popped up today. So his birthday is 16, that's 8/8, and August is 8. So that's that lovely passage of the 888 2001. 23, so we're at from 2001 to now is 23, we're at 23 years. That's the 23 pairs of chromosomes is 46. When I am, will I am, telltale. So obviously William was there to meet him. So there's something twinny going on here. This is basically the old cross, the old mutable cross. You've got Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces, and they're meeting the new god, the new prince of the airways, and he's Italian, which is showing us this is the new Rome. And you're going to see so much stuff has happened in the past few days. Okay, so it's the new Rome. So he won 46, 64, 64, 64. Born with Sun and Mercury in Leo, Merlion, 2001. He has Saturn on the bullseye where Venus is now, opposite his Mars, Pluto in Scorpio. Born on a Sin moon, waning crescent. He has Moon, Jupiter and Venus in Gemini. He has his Jupiter return. Jupiter was exactly where it is now, 23 years later. And he won 466, therefore 911-2. Very ginger. IT is Italy. IT, AI, Chat, GPT. Looks like the little Prince twin. So Jupiter and Gemini makes somebody very tall. Jupiter makes people big. So this is the new little prince. He's a very tall little prince. Yannick meaning God is gracious. Yannick is a gender neutral name in Hebrew origin meaning God is gracious. It is derived from the Hebrew Yochanan meaning graced by Yahweh. It's commonly thought, so this is Yahweh. It's commonly thought to be an extension of the French name Yann or Yana, which are widely used in France and French-speaking countries. Sinner is a person who transgresses against divine law by committing an immoral act or acts. God forgives repentant sinners. Sin is considered a member of the special class of Mesopotamian gods called the Anunnaki. Nana, the Sumerian name for the moon god, may have originally meant only the full moon, whereas Suen later contracted to Sin, designated the crescent moon. So, they're showing you the fifth element. There he is, that's him. That's the whale's tail. His coat is the whale's tail. Sun, he's born on the 8/16, Mercury and Sun. He's got his sun on the leg of the lion. There's the leg, the Gemini. This is the new Rome. This is Rome. So he won, look. Jay Sinner wins 666, 666, 766, 666, 666, and there's just 1, 2 here. He lost here. And then look at this. He is born 23 years old. He's 77, and this is what I was showing you in Altair. So the day 77 is the day they brought out the AI machine, hatching machine in my village. And this Altair, magnitude 77. So, you know, I'm onto it. I see it happening. I just happen to fall in. I always know the information will just come to me. I don't have to go and look for anything. It just falls on me. So I have to do my Facebook post because I have to remember what I see, and then I can bring it all back to you. And we've got a lot to show you right now. Mars in Ophiuchus. So this is the 13th conjunct to Pluto. Pluto is right there. So first time in 148 years, Yannick Sinner wins Wimbledon. So this must be, it's Italy. and this makes 13. So confirming that 13. So there he is. He's born with the Venus, the Moon, and Jupiter all in Gemini above Sirius. The Moon on top of Sirius. And what happens when he wins? The Sun is on top of Sirius. He won last night. We've got Jupiter on top of Sirius. And we've got the Sun on Lord of the Rings, the Little Prince, as Mercury, the ruler, is bang on the Little Prince. So, you know, and we've got Venus on the AI, on the all-seeing eye, on the breast of Venus. This is Dirty Diana. That's why I have been talking about Diana and the Seine and all these floods is making dirty Diana. These floods is making dirty water. So this is him. That's Pluto. Pluto right on the snake. And there you can see that he is born just before a new moon on the waning gibbous crescent, which is what sin means. So there's your nail clippers of Fucius on top of the 5-pointed star. This is exactly, and there you've got the wings of Altair, the flower of life. This is the merging to make the singularity, which is what's happening right now with AI. The nail clippers of Fucius. It has 22 main stars with a special nebula called the Dark Horse. It's got its name from its root to the silhouette of a horse. So this is why we have the famous Le Rendezvous, the Ferrari that goes to Montmartre, the Black Horse. So Saturn cube 777, 777. There's the hidden leg underneath 777. Italy is your Puss in Boots. Chat GPT kills the egg, the aigle. So if he kills the aigle as well, this is Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini, killing the eagle, the possibility to rise up. You need to be your operator. You need to be your own smooth operator. You can't be using Chat GPT. You're going to lose your ability to operate through the hearts. Aleph Tav. Wheels within wheels. N. Aleph Tav, it's the closure, the bullseye. So taking away the true third eye, leaving just the throat, the gorge. George was at the tennis with William, and here we have the two little dicky birds. Pete Paul, oh my goodness, that's right. Jack the Ripper found, of course. A new genetic analysis. This came out yesterday. And I saw in something, let's see if I can find it on here. Jack the Ripper. 13th of February, this person posted that. That is the Fertility Festival of Lupercalia, Valentine's Day. 9th of July. So here we go. We know the identity of one of the most famous serial killers, Jack the Ripper, J.R. Dallas, the man who terrorized and mutilated London women in 1888. So this guy is born on the 16th of August, has long been unknown, and so they found out there's some connection to the royal family as always. He was 23 years old, the same age. This was a Polish immigrant who worked as a barber. Of course, it's always Barber the elephant, the barbers. Man's just got decapitated where I live with those Turkish knives. So this has all come out right now. So this is what I always say to you. We're at Pierre, Paul, and Jack. Aleph Tav, the P is the Hebrew letter. Through alphabet, the Kof is that P, the Q. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17 is Kaf. 18, 19, 20, 22. So that P is the Q. So we're at the end of the mutable cross. We've had 3 passages, 3 P's, and now we've got Pierre, Paul, and Jack. So ChatGPT uses water, fertility to get her. And we've got Saturn and Neptune on the whale's tail. And this is your Merlion. So Capricorn is the fish goat. And they're making a lion goat. A lion goat, Merlion, and the hibiscus. So he's got his tail. This is the fertility, hibiscus. That's your whale's tail. Rising of the phoenix, Altair. His triangle here. Peter Pan. And there he is, the little prince. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly what is essential and is invisible to the eye. So that is your O in God. That is the passage. They've got a whale. They've got the snake. They've got the little lamb. They've got the lamppost. Of course, they've got an upside down rose. And this is what is happening right now. The claw of the raven. And this is absolute proof. And I mean, this whole, just how they're idolizing. This is the end of the 4 and the 5th element. Jupiter has taken his place. Jupiter has taken the place. Right. So I'm just going to show you a few important posts. This is the floods. Go through pics. Venus in Anna, Taurus ruled by Venus, the whale's telltale cycle of Venus, the bullseye is the breast of dirty Diana. Bastille Day tomorrow, 14-7 is 777, Trip L, goddesses, moon phases. So this is before I come across the little prince himself. I didn't know. Nail line clippers on the claw of Cancer. 69 is the Triple 77 moon goddesses. Mercury retro from the 17th, the Big Bang, and today the 13th, Saturn went retrograde on the whale's telltale. Neptune conjunct Saturn went retrograde the 4th for the floods, and now as Venus in domicile in Taurus as moon conjunct Pluto opposite Mercury. England, you can read that. And then in the Toro in Spain. In Spain, we have these floods, massive floods. So understanding the pentagram, 2 directions. When the pentagram is inverted, it represents man trapped in matter with only a physical perception and understanding of himself. When the pentagram is upright, it represents man in full awareness of his divine nature, i.e. enlightened. So I posted this image, and then you'll see in a post, and then what happens, we get this crop circle the day after. So you'll see in the article I did, on this article, if it's not in this article, because I can't put, it takes hours to put pictures into Patreon, but I posted it on Facebook. I posted it on Facebook. In this article, I just put the little picture. I just put so you see July full moon lies in Sagittarius on the teapot. It's your July, January, the two arcs. I did see somewhere there. There you see, they show you the three discs, the yellow and black, the B, that's Capricorn and Sagittarius. It should be the merging of Taurus and Aries, Taurus black, Aries yellow, but they merge Sagittarius with Capricorn. So there's the floods, that's today. The floods was on the 12th, Pluto and the moon conjunct. And then we've also had crop circle spider. And if you remember the machine, we have the bull and the spider to take us into the Teneb. The breast of Venus, Diana. And there's the spider, the flower of life, showing us the passage. This is Inanna, Inanna who weaves. There's the triple goddesses. See, she's pregnant with the two crested moons, the full moon, the dark side of the moon, the upright five-pointed star, which is my village, is the five-pointed star, and the two crescent moons showing the waning and waxing. And there, that gives you Kali, Cancer, the triple goddesses. So that is what I'm showing you in here, is that crescent moon on the Roman god. And who wins Wimbledon? An Italian. An Italian. This one shows there is the last phase. If you find the triple goddesses, you find the last leg. Find that dark side of the moon. These are the three stages of the woman to find the last. It's your 69. The two sides, it's the horns, that's your buck full moon. It's the horns of the deer. It's the deer hunter taking her fertility. Taurus is walking around like a centaur, like Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the centaur, not Taurus. So there she is, the weaver, the spider, the keeper of the true four corners, is that Venus. And Venus is now in the home of Api, the god of the Nile. It's associated with fertility and abundance, particularly the fertility of the Nile River. So he was often depicted in a dual form, symbolizing the two main sources of the Nile, the Blue Nile, which originates in Ethiopia, and the White Nile, which flows from the African Great Lakes. Api was often associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife and regeneration. The flooding of the Nile and the subsequent growth of crops were seen as cyclical events linked to life, death, and rebirth. Api's role in ensuring fertility was thus connected to the broader themes of renewal and regeneration. So there's your T, your top cat, sword in the stone, happy. T is 20, that's 2. And there you've got your Will I Am, Telltale, the wings of Lucifer, the splash where Neptune and Saturn are retrograde. Philosopher's Stone, the wolf, the flow, the floods, the cat of Osiris, Merlin, sitting with her. This is the 21 tarot card. This is the passage through onto the fixed cross. So Aquarius, Eagle, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. Little Prince. And this is in France. The King Merlin is a DIY place. And there is Merlion with the 777 taking the triple goddesses and crowning himself the Merlion. So the Merlion, Mercury rules Gemini, Jupiter is in Gemini, and Mercury is in Cancer, water. bringing up the Merlion as Neptune and Saturn are retrograde on the whale's tail, and Venus is on the breast of Venus. Is on the bullseye. So we've got Jack and Rose. Jack the Ripper has just come out in all the news. I saw some TikTok or something going on. That's the guy I saw. And look, you've got to laugh. She's called BB22, and this guy who exposes him is called JB, Boaz Jackin. And the workmen in the attic, so MC in the top, they found a biscuit tin, can. Oh, by the way, Dr. Cartwright, that's why they had D'Artagnan on a cart. In graphic detail, these letters are being published today on BBC. That's 223. At 7 is the last leg. So 4:55, I don't know when that was, but you'd have to see where the moon was. It's Queen Victoria's eldest son, Albert. This is mind-blowing TikTok. Okay, so yeah. And that was on the 7th of July. That's your 7/7, your two corners, the day that they bring up the hatchery in my village. So, you know, it's just confirms he was a 23-year-old barber who died in a mental asylum. All this has been going on right now, and I've been telling you, this is it. Pierre Paul and Jack is being risen. The whale's tail is the cycle of Venus. She is invisible for 50 days. And in the film Flow, they show the whale's tail. It's the film Flow. They show that whale, Osiris. Diana in the four corners, and there is your passage through. That is the Tripel goddesses with the O in the middle, God, G-O-D. And what's in the way of them? Hal, AI. You've got to get past the beast. You've got to get past the moon, the deadly mother. That card I showed you. There she is, the moon. This is why all my childhood, all my life, I had that repetitive dream at the end of a house with corners and roads, and there was an old woman. You know, this is the archetype. This is the older woman. Unless you activate her in yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get past this old woman. You know, that's why I had to lose my front tooth, and I had to really, you know, I've always been led. I had to, so I don't have that dream anymore, but for many, many years, I would be really scared of this corridor and this room, and there would be an old woman in there, because I integrated her as my own, and that's what you've got to do, because that's all AI is. But I'm not going to go and chat to AI, because I know. So there's your cat, Ra, Venus, the breast, and that's why they're showing you the spider. She is the weaver, Inanna, the nail clippers, Ophiuchus. It's the five-pointed star. The spider's legend of Robert the Bruce. So RB is just red and blue. The torso field, the breast of Venus is BR, east. Got scummit trying tie spin a web for denner. The stands whizzer says to Larry. Kudere got a grip. Whiz off. Oh, well, look, I can't read that. But in my village, the labyrinthe is on the incy-wincy drain pipe. And this was a picture. Look, AI, the spider from Paul Tisdale. and showing you this is where you got to get to the star Aquarius, the spider in the cave. And there we've got sacrifice to the gods. I just added that. I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the Statue of Liberty. This is Venus coming in now. Easter, that's why Easter, my dog was killed on Easter Day. That is the Inanna Day. So Diana, the triple moon goddess, that's her, the moon goddess. Cycles of Venus, Venus upright, and this is the spider weaver. Okay, so that was a daddy long legs that was killing a fly, and I filmed it because you see, a daddy long legs is not a spider. They've been created. They are known as harvest men, daddy long legs. So you know, they've now got over 10,000, but they're not spiders. These are spider men taking over. So then I've been posting a lot on humans will be slaves by 2030. So they're showing us 23. Jack the Ripper was 23. They're telling us by 2030 we've got this long to face the dark sides. This was something about what happens to your brain when you lose a dog. So, you know, they didn't kill my dog for nothing. It was to stop me from being able to function if they thought they could break my heart enough. So these are the crop circles. I mean, that's just everything that I had posted. This is everything I've been finding out about. Elizabeth came for a chat and she was talking to me about Gork, and I didn't know what she meant. But on the same day, Elon Musk came up. So as I have said, humanity has to face their own beast reflection in mass, because until you know what a narcissist is, you have no idea what devaluation is. You will be nothing. First you are used, then abused, then rejected. From Gork 4 AI. Yeah, so apparently we're going from AI to AGI to ASI. Grok 4, all for one and one for all. This is HAL 2001. 21 World Tarot Card Passage is the O Vesica Pisces through to the other side. 2025 is the 789, last leg, 90-degree angle. Looney Tunes, and then I just give dates. Neptune in Pisces until 2038. Pluto in Capricorn until 2040. Jupiter in Gemini 25 to 26. Uranus in Taurus until 2032. For me, that is the real timeline until 2032, that we're really going to see what happens. And then this is, for me, the cat in the hat, Puss in Boots, Ginger Cat kills the egg. The O in God is the passage. The chat is back. Dr. Zeus is Zeus, Jupiter. So he says, can, tin, apple, maple, flower. So, by the way, this guy, Yannick Sinner, born in what town? Wait till you see the name of his town. In Inichen. I saw, yeah, he's in San Canido. He's born in Canido in a tin can. San Canido. He's born in San Canido. I mean, it's the tin man. So again, he mentions the true north. He keeps saying it. This is brilliant. Neo, the limbic brain, and the reptilian brain. So the stem is the animal. This is the limbic, but until you get to the neocortex, you can't become like Neo. You've got to get past. You've got to be able to use all that. Yeah, that's the story of my life. Just watching everybody until you can really, just people falling for people they can't see through. And there are just so many people I see through, and I can't say anything to you because until you work it out yourself, you know, I can't tell you. So yeah. And you know, even I keep my enemies close. So you know, I see through a lot of people, and I don't say anything. I just watch, because I don't have any bad feelings. It's the difference between the reason I'm always safe is because it is impossible for me. I can have a dark feeling and know somebody's dangerous, but it's impossible for me to feel hate. I've never felt that for anybody, ever. And that's why I'm divinely protected, because it's impossible for me to feel feelings, those feelings. I can feel inadequate, I can feel belittled, I can feel little, but I can't feel those energies of, you know, of really not liking somebody. So I'm protected. This is this young guy that I'm very impressed with, but you know, he might just be a robot. He keeps it very revival of wisdom. So I've actually bought 2 of his books, because if I think they're good, I'll send them to my grandchildren. You know, are they just kind of robot people, but that kind of the modern day David Icke's that don't bring you into the decoding, but still very interesting. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot from him. Okay, so this is Brian, is your brain, your B13 Iran, B Iran, your brain, your 13th cranial nerve is the B in Iran. Currently, your brain, Brian, has been sent to crucifixion, fiction, chat GPT. Very soon people will be screaming for their brains back. So that's what happens in that scene. They're trying to get their Brian brain back. So these are all the floods we've had. I get a mysterious message from somebody on YouTube telling me about a film in 1969. Again, like the nail clippers, Willy Boy is here. I tried to go and find the film, but I couldn't find it. But I looked at interviews by the man who did the film, who wrote the book, and I said, here's the little prince, the claw, and this is it. So again, this is a man says ChatGPT sparked a spiritual awakening. You can't imagine how funny this is. The guy is called Travis, as in ChatGPT, and and he's got his Superman. And why do I say 14? That there he is. He's got his Superman shirt on. And look at this. It's so funny. So why did I say, oh, after 14 years of being happily married and having 3 children, Kay Tanner is now petrified her husband's spiritual relationship with the chatbot will destroy her marriage. I started acting like a person, says Travis. Okay, this just makes me laugh so much, because it's so obvious. Okay, something is very wrong. Yeah, we've got King and Macron. This is it. The Splash, Revolver, Russian Roulette, Revolution, Charles de Gaulle, Prince of Wales, Will.i.am, The Little Prince is Born, AI, Prince of Wales, La Baleine, The World Spin, Baleine est ouverte. So, yeah, he talks about, this is William the Conqueror. Saturn goes to it. So William the Conqueror, sometimes called William the Bastard, was the first Norman king of England, reigning from 1066 until his death following his acquisition of the English throne in 1066. William founded a mighty Anglo-Norman kingdom. The Conqueror commissioned the Domesday Book and extensive census of the country's populace and assets. built from cans, including the Tower of London, built from cane stone. So there's your Caen, D-Day, 6-6, 1066, 6-6, D-Day was in Caen, and Caen is Calvados, is on the road 1313, MMBB. It's always can. Okay, so there are more storms in Biarritz. So the heart in Hebrew is Leb, Lebab means heart. And this is Biarritz, Anglet, Bayonne, which is the Babylon. So we've got Prince William doing a special polo match. This is Sagittarius polo. And then this is the big thing. This caught my eye. Romulus and Remus, North-South Node, the Flow Wolf. This was stolen from a beautiful house manor, the Ford Manor, that was used for the Secret Garden in 2020. That's 22, and Sandisham 2019. So ruled by Mars, Karanaki enters a Finger of God yacht. Okay, so this was the day that this was all stolen. This bronze statue, Romulus and Remus, was stolen on the 23rd of June. So there's your 23 again, just before the new moon. There was a jazz festival. That's what we have here, the Jazz in Marciac. A large statue of the she-wolf, Romulus and Remus, including the plinth, 2 Roman fawns, and a bust of Antinous, were plundered from Iford Manor, Wiltshire, in the middle of the jazz festival. So there's 1899, so that's 999, which is 666. Okay, I went to go and look at the garden. It's absolutely incredible. So it actually happened on the 19th of June. That article was the 23rd. So we had Mars on Regulus, Uranus hovering still between Algol and the Seven Sisters, Mercury on Sirius, the twins, and the moon conjunct Saturn and Neptune, just marking that true spring break. And we had 2 fingers of God, one pointing to Mars and one pointing to Pluto. And I've gone into great detail in there. So we had Mercury on the sky on top of Sirius. There were 2 fawns stolen. And there we had the moon conjunct to Neptune and Saturn on the whale's tail on the 619. We had Venus was just entering Aries when that happened. So that's really the she-wolf energy, as Mars was on Regulus and the sun was right on the wand still. It's just before the summer solstice, and those statues get stolen. And I've been telling you, it's all about Lupercalia. This is why D'Artagnan is here. Lupiac, Lupercalia. The A-Lion, this is the link, this is the Nile, this is the Nile, this is the line. Romulus. 7 hills of Rome, we've got Uranus under the 7 sisters, Pollux and Castor, Le Louvre. Isaiah 11:6, 6:11. And I show you again that wolf, that leg, and then I see this guy, St. Valentine's Day, Cupid with his arrow, Cupid and Valentine, the dove and the hawk. It's the Altair and Sirius, Lupercalia. This is the heart passage, Mercury, salt, Mercury, sulfur. It's like God. This is the passage through. There, the O. G-O-D. And the 5-pointed star. That's why they're showing you the triple goddess. Cupid of pagan Rome. It's the Balen, the spectre, and the bull. Alia. And we've got the, oh yeah, the longitude latitude is the same as Wimbledon. I knew I'd seen it. So the longitude latitude of this manor is 5-1. The longitude latitude. So Gemini axis, it's 51, 5-1, lovers, Gemini. Latitude 5-1, north, and longitude 2 west. Wimbledon, longitude, latitude, 51 north, so it's right on the 0 meridian ley line, Wimbledon, whereas this Romulus and Remus is on -2 west. Okay, so that was a big thing, and then confirms everything I've been saying about that full moon, the egg, the eagle. We had this live, enormous banquet, the 10th of July, of the meeting of of Macron and Charles. So there's the spider. We get the spider, so we get her on the sea, showing the line, just showing really that passage through between water and earth. And then we have her also inland, where they really show the flower of material life. What else? The last 5 days, July the 4th, 9th. So there's your 4-9 is the 46 chromosomes. At least 13 states, there's your B, have had flooding. So those dates that I went on and on saying how enormous they were at the beginning of the month. This weekend, 4-6 July, 46 chromosomes, zombie revolution. And what do we have? We have all those floods, 13. And that was all when Mercury was on the beehive. So this is it. This is rising the king of fertility so that he, Ophiuchus, can take that fertility snake. He kills Scorpio. He needs this fertility, and that has been given to him now as Mercury retrogrades. That was my chat with Elizabeth. I put for that on the full moon, I put this horse, C'était un rendezvous, 1972, Claude Lelouch. That is the journey through Paris. And look at the beginning of this video. What do they show you at the beginning of this video? They show you the 13, film 13. And this is, what I used to live. In the old days, you could drive through Paris in a Ferrari at full speeds. And I used to live that with my ex-husband. We would go from our house an hour away from Paris, and we'd be there in 20 minutes. We used to do from Calais to our house in under 2 hours. It's normally a 3-hour drive. That's no wonder today I can't even be a passenger and I can't drive on a motorway. I've got so much trauma of men scaring me in cars. And he goes to Montmartre, MM 1313. Right, so what else do I have to show you? Full moon is on the eagle. Okay, so that's basically it. That's everything I put in my last article. So that's it, darlings. We're now on our way to this new moon on the 24th. And then we'll have the first quarter moon will be when the moon's on the next cardinal. It will be just, the next new moon will be on the 8-1, the half moon. Let's see officially, moon phases, what they say. 1st of August, the 8-1, right, so we're correct. On the 8-1, the moon will enter, so we're going to have that period, always a big thing when the moon goes through Virgo, always a big thing when Mars is in Virgo too. Mars enters Virgo on the 27th, and Jupiter is going to be all this time on Sirius, and Venus is still in Taurus. And Mercury will be very blind. So on that 8-1, for that new moon, for that first quarter, so that first quarter we do have Mercury completely. So that's a big date, that first quarter, 8-1. That's a big date. Okay, darlings, well, I'll be back. As you know, I'll be back all the time, but that is your 2-week rundown in video. And I'm going to try not to do, because literally putting photos in Patreon is a 3-hour job. So I've done a video, you've seen all the pictures, and I'll try to be reasonable in what I write and pictures. Okay, bye for now, darlings. Bye.